Hi, I'm Bill, the knee pain guru, the best in the world at eliminating chronic knee pain without drug shots or surgery. Welcome to the Knees for Life Google Hangout. I have a really cool agenda for you guys today. What's the big focus of today's hangout is the knee pain body tension connection. That's something that's extremely important, very misunderstood, especially when the main focus is around your knee pain. And when we first experience knee pain, the place everyone looks to is at the knee, which makes total sense. But is this the place you really need to be looking to eliminating your knee pain? Because the body is what is considered a tensegrity structure. That's a series of connections of pulleys and levers that create tension patterns that can shift the pain in the body. So if there's other things going on, maybe in your ankles and your feet, or in your hips and your lower back, that's something to consider. The question is, can you get faster relief if you look somewhere else in the body? And something we're going to cover today. And what's even more important, like in a broader scope, do we actually reduce the years of our life if we don't consider all of these factors that are contributing to what's going on in your knees? So today's call, we're going to learn the secret source of all knee pain that could be taking years off of your life, why your knees always hurt and why your doctor can't answer this question, and how to know if the source of your knee pain is in your knees or somewhere else in your body, as well as 3 action steps you can begin taking today to reducing the pain in your knees instantly. One thing for those viewing the Google Hangout, feel free to go to the kneepainguru.com, Knees for Life Inner Circle, and you can actually watch this live streaming from the website there. And the members of the Knees for Life Inner Circle actually are able to interact with me in these Google Hangouts. This is where we work together one-on-one, as if I'm working with clients, and I direct them to the specific videos in my virtual clinic that would help them get out of pain the fastest. One other point I want to cover before we get started is I actually had a call with Dr. Frank Charles on the last Google Hangout. We were talking about getting the list of supplements that Dr. Charles has prepared for you specifically if you're suffering with knee pain, issues like bone on bone or inflammation or torn meniscus or torn tendons and ligaments. There were specific supplements that Dr. Charles put together in a list, and Dr. Charles actually came out with a new supplement, and I want to tell you a little bit about it in a moment. But the supplement, it was an enzyme-based supplement. It was a joint formula. Here we are. It's a new enzyme-based supplement for joint health. And really, the big thing with enzymes, they're pretty amazing. Enzymes have a way, when taken on an empty stomach, that the enzymes have the ability to reduce inflammation in the body. So this is really key. If you're suffering with knee pain, swelling, inflammation, you just had a recent injury, that type of deal, enzymes are extremely beneficial in terms of reducing swelling and inflammation from the inside. And of course, you want to address it on the outside as well. So let's get into the meat of the broadcast today. So let's look at the secret source of all knee pain that could be taking years off of your life. And what I'm really talking about is your nervous system. Your nervous system is the source of all pain in the body. Anything we feel, anything we experience is taken in through the nervous system, the nerves, the connection of nerves, the network of synapses that connect our entire structure all the way to our brain. And these nerves get these impulses, input from the world around us, the emotions that we feel. And when these nerves are interfered with, it can send a signal to our brain that we have pain. Now, one of the pieces that people get really stuck on is the terminology of knee pain. We say that it is, some people don't use the word pain. Some people use the word tension. Someone says the joint feels tight or tender or sensitive. These are all languaging around the input that the nervous system is getting, your experience of your knee. And why is this so important? Well, your nervous system is the control center of your entire body. All of the signals that are thought of in the brain and sent to the rest of the body to operate, and the input that we get from the world that goes to the brain to let us know where we are in time and space, it's affected by the tension. Tension affects the space for the nerves, and the nerves can create or relax the tension. It's kind of like a chicken or egg thing. But what's really important is that if we begin to reduce the tension in the body and create the space, we lead a higher quality life. And if you talk to any doctor, they'll say the majority of disease in the body is caused by stress and tension. Stress and tension that builds up in our body over time taxes the heart, taxes the organs, taxes the mind, and there's a tendency for the quality of life to not be as great, as well as the body begins to take its toll. It's like we have this boat anchor tied to ourselves and we're trying to move forward. And this tension and stress, especially if we're feeling pain in our knees, and the knees are affecting the rest of the body, compounds over time. And it really takes a toll on our entire structure. So this is the secret source of all knee pain, is it's your nervous system, the nerves in your knee that are sending a signal to your brain that you have pain. So the next question we're going to address is why your knees always hurt and why your doctor can't answer this question. And the reason being is, from what I've seen, what I've experienced in terms of working with clients over the past 15 years, my interaction with doctors, the majority of doctors don't look deep enough. They see pain, but as just this thing that we need to cover up. That's why the majority of people who have chronic pain, knee pain or otherwise, go into a pain management program. Now, pain management is fine in the short term, but when you're looking at weeks and months and sometimes even years of pain, a different approach needs to be looked at. We need to look at the body deeper. We need to understand the body deeper and understand why it hurts, especially in the knees. So when the knee hurts, those tiny little nerves, the width of an eyelash, are being squeezed. And when those nerves are being squeezed, it sends a signal to your brain that you have pain. And when you have pain, it creates this cascading effect. And once again, this is the source of the knee pain. And from what I've seen in my experience, why doctors can't answer it is because they don't look deep enough in the body. They're looking at it on a skeletal level, bones, tendons, ligaments, muscles. Most of it is only on a surface level. It's not deep enough. So how to know if the source of your knee pain is in your knees or somewhere else in your body? This is a really, really interesting study. I was actually starting work with a client yesterday, Wanda, out of Virginia. And Wanda's in her mid-50s, and she had this experience of this pain on the outside of her left knee. Well, whenever she'd walk, whenever she'd take a step, the knee would hurt. But she found that if she tightened up her quadricep, made her leg really, really like engage the quadricep in her left leg, and she walked, the pain in her left knee went away. And this is, I look at it, and many times the pain in the body is like, in order to alleviate it, sometimes we have to raise the bridge and sometimes we have to lower the river. And what I mean by this is sometimes, in order to get the pain out of the body, we have to release the tension, create comfort around the pain, the nerves that are being squeezed. Other times, we need to look at strengthening something that is looser, something that isn't pulling the way it's supposed to. So we have this pulley and lever system in the body. And when one of those pulleys and levers aren't pulling in the right way, what ends up happening is something else has to compensate and it gets overused. And this could be causing the pain. So when we're looking at the knee pain and body tension connection, we have to look at the tension from the head to the feet. If we aren't looking at that entire series of tension from the head to the feet, we leave a lot on the table. And this is what I'm talking about. So some instances we need to relax the tension to make the knee comfortable. In other instances, we need to strengthen something that isn't pulling tight enough to bring the body back into balance. And when you bring the body back into balance, the knee pain goes away. Many times, quite frequently. So now I'm going to go over the 3 action steps to take to begin reducing the pain in your knees instantly. So the first step, and this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous. Trust me on this one. You have to stop doing what's causing your knees to hurt. There's this mentality out there that many times the muscles in the legs are weak. The muscles in the legs are weak, so I need to strengthen the muscles in the legs in order to make the knee pain go away. However, so many times that exercise that you're doing is actually causing the knees to be in more pain. So this is a real simple solution to stop doing what's causing the knees to hurt. This is when I start working with clients one-on-one. The first thing we need to do is identify what is causing the pain in the knee. Is it bending the knee? Is it straightening the knee? Is it going upstairs? Is it going downstairs? Is it pushing off? Is it stepping? All of this is going to have an effect on how the knee feels. And based on this input, we get a clearer picture of how those tension patterns are going on in the knee, as well as in the rest of the body. So it's a real gimme. This first one is stop doing what's causing your knees to hurt. The next piece that the next action step to take is increase your water intake. And I know it sounds very simple, but many of us are walking around chronically dehydrated. And that chronic dehydration can cause the joints to ache, especially the knees. Because your brain and the blood in your body come first and second in priority for water, for the hydration of your body. So your body, what it does is it has this water allocation system, and it will go to the bones and the synovial fluid in the joints and draw that liquid out of those different areas. So now your body has enough fluid to be able to keep the brain and the blood operating properly. It's there to keep you alive. The body has an innate wisdom, an innate intuition. It knows. It's much smarter than we are. We just need to get out of the way. If the body's not healing, there's barriers in the way preventing it from doing so. So if we begin to remove those barriers, the body defaults to healing. It just moves to healing. And that's what we want to do. We really want to focus on creating the conditions so the body can heal itself. So the third point, the third action step you can take is move the knee to comfort. And it sounds very simple as well. However, comfort isn't quite as easy as you would think. Remember, I was talking about Wanda. In Wanda, in our first call, when I was talking about the steps that we take to systematically move her to a place out of pain so her body can heal her knees, I talked to her about the concept of comfort. And she said that was such a revolutionary concept for her because comfort it was like it didn't even make sense. Like, why? What does comfort have to do with it, or anything? But here's how important comfort is. Your joint, the joint bends like this. It's a gross motor movement, the way it bends. But what many people don't talk about, hardly anyone talks about, is the intrinsic movement of the joint. The slight twisting, the slight side to side, the slight forward and back, and the slight apart and together of the knee joint. And when our body experiences pain, it tenses up. And it'll tense up the joint in a way that pinches on those tiny little nerves. So now you move in certain directions, bending your knee, straightening your knee out, twisting, going upstairs, going downstairs, moving side to side. All of those will affect that squeezing on those nerves, those tiny little nerves, the width of an eyelash. And that's what causes the pain. So by creating comfort, by working with the intrinsic movement of the joint to get the pressure off of those nerves, we begin to re-educate your nervous system. We begin to teach it what it needs to understand. We get you a better feeling of what it's like without pain, giving your body this experience, giving your body the opportunity to reorganize around comfort. Because to this point, everything's been reorganizing around pain. When your knee hurts, the whole body compensates for that knee. And now what we're doing is we're creating comfort in the knee and reorganizing around the comfort. But here's what we need to do that. The body is the nervous system is an electrical system. And that's why it's important that we drink water, which was our second action step. And we need to stop doing what caused the problem to begin with. So if we stop, these are 3 action steps. We stop doing what's causing the knee to hurt. Then we make sure the body has plenty of water. And then we work with those intrinsic movements in the joint to create comfort in the joint by getting the pressure off of those nerves and let your nervous system reorganize, your body reorganize around the comfort. So this is the focus of today's call, how these 3 action steps that you want to take to get yourself out of knee pain and keep yourself out of knee pain. So now we are going to move along to some questions. Got some interesting questions this week. Got a question from Chris. It says, "Hi, Bill. I've been watching several of your videos and have a question about fibular head pain. For those that are not up to speed on anatomy, fibula is the springy bone on the outside of the lower part of your leg. And the head of the fibula is going to be like that bump right below the outside of your knee. So if you were to follow your kneecap around to the side just below where it hinges, you're going to find the head of the fibula. Chris continues on, back in the summer, I had a fall and sprained my MCL. That's the medial collateral ligament. That has since resolved itself, but I'm still troubled by the pain in the head of the fibula. I've been to a sports medicine doctor several times, as well as physiotherapy since the injury. I have still yet to see any progress. I can run at a slow pace, but once I speed up, the pain begins in the fibular head. I play a lot of squash and I'm very hesitant to attempt to play with this lingering pain. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Well, Chris, the main piece that I'm going to focus on, that I'm going to talk about, is exactly the lessons that I wanted to cover today. One is stop what you're doing. Stop. If squash is hurting it or running fast is hurting it, then we want to stop doing that. Next is make sure you're properly hydrated. I've had clients that I've worked with that just by increasing their water intake, their knee pain has gone away. I know it sounds crazy, but it works really, really well. You'd be amazed at how much pain we experience in our body as a result of that. But I have a feeling that what you have going on is more in depth, than just drinking more water. And here's why I think so, especially if you had something going on where it was an injury that you needed to go to a doctor and get it checked out. That's going to give an indication of a tension pattern going on in the knee that the body tensed up to protect itself. The body, like the pucker factor went up. You tensed up. And in doing so, that creates a condition where pain is experienced. So with that being said, what I would do, I would look at, and I'm going to go into the virtual clinic. This is how I work with my coaching clients. So there's going to be some specific videos in the virtual clinic that I would point you directly towards. And I'm going to give that a minute to come up here. The first place I would look at is in the stretching lounge, the passive stretching section. And I would look at modules 1 and 2. That's going to be the forward and back and rotation of the knee joint. And that sounds like what you might have had going on with that MCL injury. The next one that I would look at, and it is called the fibula float. I'm going to get the module for you in just a second here. Okay. Matter of fact, I gave this one, another one of my clients, Sue. I gave her this one yesterday. Okay. Fibula float is going to be module 37, the fibula float, as well as I would work with modules, let's see, above, below the knee, outside below the knee, modules 4 and 6. So that would be, in addressing what you have going on, I would do module 1, module 2, module 4, module 6, and module 37. So those would be the, 5 modules that I would work on in the short term here. And what's going to happen is this is going to create comfort in this area. And based on the comfort in that area, the tension may shift. It may move to a different area of the knee. It may move to a different area of the body. This goes back to that knee pain, body tension connection, that when we relieve pain in one area, when the pain is relieved in your fibula, the head of the fibula, The rest of the body has to hold tension a certain way in order for the fibula head to hurt. And as we relax the tension there, you're going to find like upstream, I say upstream, different places in the body that will pick up and pull based on the relief in that one area of the body. Okay. So Chris, that's what the direction I would point you in, the suggestions I would make for what you have going on with that fibula head. The next question is from Lori. She's emailing me, or she's sending a question on behalf of her 11-year-old daughter, struggling with knee pain over the past year. And is this something you have experience with? And one of the concerns Lori had was she didn't see anything on the website specifically about a younger girl or a child. And I can appreciate her question. However, I don't look at knee pain in the very same way. Pain is pain. If it's in an old person or a young person or a middle-aged person, it doesn't matter. The nervous system is wired the same way. The nervous system, our experience of the body is going to be similar. And if we create comfort, then the body can reorganize around that comfort while we set up the conditions for the body to heal. We do that, and the situation just resolves itself. So I don't go specifically on, let's say, an 11-year-old girl. I'm looking at the knee and how it hurts. That's why diagnosis, the only value I have in diagnosis is to rule out that something is broken or torn. Once we rule out that something is broken or torn, now we can really run with the Knees for Life approach, or the Knee Pain Guru approach to healing knee pain. We just need to know that nothing is broken or torn. We need a solid foundation to work from so we know that the body can heal. Okay, so I got that piece. She's 11 years old. Her pain started the beginning of 2014. It's been going on for almost a year. She describes the pain as severe pain around the kneecap, under and around. The pain is in both knees and is equally painful in both. The pain is triggered when she runs, walks upstairs, walks or bikes up any incline, squats, or lunges. The pain stops as soon as she stops the activity. There's never been any sign of inflammation. She's been diagnosed from the different specialists with patellofemoral pain, patella tendonitis, and or pain sensitivity. Before the pain started, she was very athletic, practiced soccer 5 times a week, and danced 1 time a week. She can't do either of these now, nor anything that requires running. She's had a bone scan, ultrasound, x-rays, none of which has shown any signs of tearing or distress. She was tested for juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, but it was negative. She has seen 3 different physiotherapists and did exercises faithfully over 6 months, but these made no difference. She is now wearing orthotics to correct foot pronation, which is the foot not really lined up correctly. It hasn't helped. She tried Bowen therapy, acupuncture, and the Bowen therapy helped for 3 days being pain-free, but the pain came back. And since she's not had any relief. Tried gluten-free for a month, but no effect on the knees. The doctors, we've been told there's a good chance you'll grow out of it. There's not much you can do but wait it out. Try to find other activities that don't require stress on the knees. All very disheartening for her daughter, who wants nothing more than to run and play soccer again. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Well, Lori, I certainly, get your frustration. I know, like after my surgery, when I couldn't exercise and run how I wanted to, that was just miserable. So I get what you're going through, and being a father myself, I understand that frustration of wanting that for your daughter. And I did reply to you via email regarding the water piece. And that was one of the things that we covered on today's call, was the water piece. But what I want to go into more in depth is the pattern that's going on in the knees. And although Lori gave me a lot of detail as far as the patellofemoral pain, hypersensitivity, patella tendonitis, There are specific stretches that I would point to in the virtual clinic that I believe would bring her lots of relief. Now, this, of course, first thing is stop the activities. So I'm in agreement with the doctor about stopping the activities. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. Water is extremely helpful, hydrating the body. We went over that earlier today. Now we want to get into the comfort piece. So here are the passive stretches that I would suggest for getting her out of pain. Once again, virtual clinic, passive stretching section. Virtual clinic, the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. Watch the intro video. Then I would do both module 1 and module 2. Module 1 and module 2 are a rotation of the knee as well as a forward and back. This is the difficulty with stairs that she was having. And those are going to begin to get some relief for what she has going on. One of the things that I didn't get from your email is, like, when she runs, when she walks upstairs, walks or bikes up any incline, squats or lunges, is it in both knees? Is it when she's pushing off? Is it when she's stepping? Is the leg straight? Is the leg bent? These are going to be little nuances, but once again, we got to dial it in to how the tiny little nerves, right? The tiny little nerves are like less than a millimeter in width. So that's the amount of space we need to create in the joint to get the pressure off of the nerves so the body can begin to organize around that comfort. So initially there's that piece of, I don't know if the leg is straight, if the leg is bent. This is going to make a difference in the specific modules that I would point her towards. So I would watch the intro video in the passive stretching section, modules 1, modules 2, and then I would work with module 8, which is the kneecaps. And that would be the initial piece. And this is what, if we were working one-on-one together, this is what I would say, okay, Lori, have your daughter do this. And what I want you to do is check in with me in a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Shoot me a text on Saturday. Let me know how that's going. Has the pain lessened? Has it gotten worse? Has it moved? Has it, the quality of the pain is different. I need to know that. And what happens at that point is then we can dial it in even more. We figure out how those patterns are showing up in her knee, in her hips, in her lower back. Remember, the knee pain, body tension correlation. We need to see how those patterns change and shift throughout the entire structure. So that would be the direction that I would go as far as what she has going on. Let's see. Yeah, so I would try that out. I would have her stop doing what is making her knee hurt. I'd have her increase the water intake. And by the way, the guide to go by is your body weight divided by 2 ounces of water per day. Start drinking that water and then work with those passive stretches. Watch the intro video, do 1, 2, and 8. And that would be the strategy that I would work with to see how that changed. And based on the body reorganizing around that comfort, the reduced pain level, then we would evolve on to newer things, better things that allow the body to express itself. Because that's ultimately what we want to do. When the body's in pain, it doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to express itself. It wants to cower. It wants to hide. It wants to rest. And the energy level drops because we don't have an outlet for it. So we kind of fumble upon ourselves. So this is, that's a strategy that I would look at. So that is all the questions we have for today. I want to thank you very much for showing up. I just want you to know that I am here to help. I'm here to assist. I want to be of service. And the biggest challenge right now I have is the belief that what I'm doing works. The belief that what I'm doing can shift the pain in the body that quickly. So I'm asking for your help right now. If you're watching this Google Hangout, I'm asking for your help. Try these out. Create comfort in your knee. Drink more water. See what happens. See how simple it is. Once we understand the body on a deep enough level, truth is always simple. And that's why it's always, initially it's discarded, and then it's violently opposed and finally accepted as self-evident. That's the process of new ideas. So forward this video to someone you know suffering with knee pain. Give them a solution, because what ends up happening is what I found since my knee surgery, when I had my ACL reconstructed in 1999. When I had that reconstructed in 1999, and all the research I've done in the past 15 years, 16 years, that I found if you don't address chronic knee pain, it ends up in a knee replacement surgery. It goes down this slippery slope. It's like this, we start with knee pain, chronic knee pain, then we're diagnosed with degenerative changes, or the pain gets worse, maybe getting in the pain management clinic, sent to physical therapy. We're looking at prescription drugs, pain-killing shots, cortisone shots and things like that, maybe exploratory surgery. And during this whole time, the quality of your life keeps decreasing. It just isn't worth it. And there are easier and better ways. And what's so important is that your mind needs to be open, that these possibilities do exist, that we have all this technology around us. Yet the best thing that the conventional model can come up with is cutting off the bones in your leg and replacing it with plastic and metal. That doesn't make sense to me. And if that's what you want to do, you want the quick fix, think that your pain is going to magically go away when they replace these worn out bones in your knee joint with plastic and metal. It may for a time, but down the road, your quality of life sucks. You can't bend your knee past 90 degrees. And between now and then, your quality of life's horrible. It's just, there's no way of escaping it. So the people that I choose to work with want to look at that head on and want to deal with it. And it may seem like a mountain. It may seem huge and like, man, I can't deal with that. But we break it down into bite-sized chunks. And when you break it down into bite-sized chunks, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what you do. We go back to the template that we set forth. Start with mindset, then look at water, nutrition, breathing, and then we look at comfort. And whenever something's not working, we go back to that template and see what we need to do to get back on track. It's how professionals operate. Whether you're a professional basketball player or football player, it's all about the basics, all about the fundamentals. And if something's not working, we just go back to the basics. So I'd really like to close on that note. Get this information out. I'm the best in the world at eliminating knee pain without drug shots or surgery. And I could say that with complete conviction because I see what's out there. And I see what happens to people that don't follow my approach. Thank you so much. Our next Google Hangout is going to be in, 2 weeks. What is today? Today is the 11th. Christmas is the next Google Hangout, so I don't think we're going to do that. And we will probably not do it between Christmas and New Year's. So we will be looking for the next Google Hangout to be on the 8th of January. January 8th will be the next Google Hangout. So thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions or are interested in more information, you can shoot me an email, bill@thekneepainguru.com. You can also leave your comments in the question section of this video. I'm going to include Dr. Frank Charles's link to that new enzyme product. You can check that out. And thank you so much. Be well and have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's.